When your performance pleases you and you feel good about it, you should use positive self-talk to reinforce the positive picture. Affirm to yourself, "That's the way I am. That's like me." Positive self-talk statements are the best way to maintain or build your own self-esteem. They deliberately cancel out the negative put-downs we apply to ourselves, or to the opinions other people try to make us accept about ourselves. How do you feel about yourself? The size and scope of your goals will increase proportionately with your self-esteem. When you have low self-esteem, you will attract negative influences that will prevent you from reaching your goals. Take a look at the clients you are dealing with, or the relationships in which you are involved. The fact is that you will always associate with people you feel worthy of being with. This includes your friends as well as your clients, if you are in business. Take a look at your material possessions. You draw to yourself that which you feel you are worthy of receiving. The car you drive, the clothes you wear, the home you live in. The total quantity and quality of your life is determined by your self-esteem or self-worth. What kind of labels are you putting on yourself? Each one of us has dozens, perhaps hundreds of labels we have given ourselves during our lifetime. I'm a good manager. I'm assertive, shy, warm, friendly, stupid, short-tempered, hard to get along with, lazy or poor. Because we act like we see ourselves, these labels or opinions govern our behavior. Some of the labels are helpful, but in order to grow and develop, some of the labels need to be changed. Again, we must be careful how we talk to ourselves. The problem is that whatever self-image we have accepted puts a ceiling on the use of our potential. That ceiling has no relationship to our ability to use our potential, but we can only act or perform like the person we see ourselves to be. We must deliberately take control of our self-talk, or it will control us. The opinions or labels we have of ourselves cannot be totally erased, because they are stored in our subconscious memory, but they can be displaced through self-talk. The new positive message will then become our dominant opinion. And we always act in accord with our dominant opinion or belief. The most important reason for changing our image, when we are dissatisfied with our performance in a particular area, is that our self-image controls our performance. Our behavior is automatic. Until we change the picture we have of ourselves, we will automatically continue to reenact the same performance. Our self-image regulates the use of our potential. Anytime we move away from our self-image, anxiety and tension will set in, because we are constantly working to act like the self we perceive ourselves to be. Our self-image is what we believe we are capable of doing right now. Increasing your expectancy level, when we find ourselves being forced by our own intent, or by the situations around us out of where we feel comfortable, away from where we know we subconsciously belong, anxiety and tension sets in. We not only have an internal comfort zone or expectancy level that concerns the kind of behavior that's expected of us, but we have also been programmed as to the kind of environment in which we belong. We have, for example, a subconscious picture of the kind of car we should be driving, the income we deserve, the restaurants we feel comfortable in, the situations we feel comfortable in, etc. It is important for us to be aware that whenever we find ourselves straying from that picture, negative tension reminds us to get back where you belong, forcing us to return to the environment we subconsciously know we belong in. As you can see, this response makes change difficult, or slow, at best. Every time we find ourselves in an unfamiliar environment, job or social situation, we will come up with logical reasons why we should not participate, why it won't work, or why we should stay where we are. The problem is we didn't deliberately program the kind of environment in which we feel comfortable. Our subconscious just absorbed through observation where we think we should be. The key to change is the ability to visualize ourselves in a different situation, environment, car, job, relationship, or career. Identify with your goal. Only vivid imagery in the first person, and in the present tense, changes our reality. This will be discussed thoroughly in Chapter 6. Program your mind for the best. But for now, it is necessary only to understand that visualization is not like watching a movie. Only images experienced and identified with in the first person, present tense, change reality. If we can't identify with the image, we can't have it, because it doesn't register on the subconscious level. If I don't identify with what I'm visualizing, I'm left with the impression that other people can be, have, or do this dash but not me. It's okay for them, but I don't think I could ever do it. You must see yourself in your picture. Deliberate affirmation or self-talk, combined with visualization, produces the end result. As we continue to do it over and over again, pretty soon our subconscious accepts that it is true for us. In the beginning there will be conflict between where you are, or what you have, and what you are accepting subconsciously. One of the primary functions of the subconscious, however, is to resolve conflicts between what we are thinking about and what we are experiencing in our reality. And because our subconscious is creative, it will begin to create what we are thinking about and what we are visualizing. The real key here is in not trying to be different from your picture. Modify the picture first. Real growth and change begins from the inside out. We must first change the picture in our mind. As we do this, our comfort zone will expand automatically. This becomes our new truth. We then act in accordance with that new truth or belief. We live a self-fulfilling prophecy. How do you know what your self-image is? Take a look at your actions, your behavior and your performance. Also, ask yourself, what do I expect of me? Where do I feel out of place? If you see yourself as poor, you will unconsciously do things to make yourself lose. When you lose, what do you suppose you say to yourself? That's the way I am. I always lose out. I'll never have any money. This reinforces the picture, which causes you to fail again, which causes your self-talk, which reinforces the picture, and so it continues. People without money feel victimized, but what they don't understand is that they live a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is why the rich get richer, and the poor get poorer. It has nothing to do with money. People with winning self-images cause themselves to do things that win. If they lose occasionally, they don't accept it as their fate. They know that losing is not normal for them. They reject it by saying, that's not like me, or that's not the way things happen for me, or the next time I will change this. Attitudes help or hinder our success. Attitudes are extremely important in determining the difference between success and failure. What are attitudes? Attitudes are dominant beliefs. In and of themselves, attitudes are neither positive nor negative. The evaluation of an attitude is always in relation to our goal. Once we set the goal, an attitude either supports us or keeps us from obtaining the goal. For example, being an introvert in itself is neutral. However, if your goal were to be a public speaker, such an attitude wouldn't support you in obtaining your goal. The attitudes we have developed cause us to seek out or avoid situations. We picked up most of our attitudes without deliberate intent. Most of them were formed unconsciously. On the other hand, if we have attitudes that cause us to avoid situations, we can make a conscious decision to change them. All we need to do is to make a new affirmation, visualize the end result what we choose to have as a response and repicture ourselves as being a person who has that emotional response. You can visualize yourself seeking out, or in some cases avoiding, if you choose, a particular action in your daily life. Attitudes allow us to grow or prevent us from growing, depending on how we use them. The primary function of the subconscious is a system of checks and balances. It always makes sure our image of reality comes true. It works to keep us from going insane. Because our subconscious records our habits of thought, regardless of whether they are good for us or not, we need to begin to evaluate whether we are operating on valid information. Is this information appropriate for our goals today? Is it appropriate for where we choose to be at this time? In dealing with the world around us, our actions are based on those habits of thought accepted by our subconscious. We need to examine our habits of thought to see if they are relevant to our success, and which ones further our progress toward our goals, and which do not. We will either stay where we are, or, through our own deliberate intent, convince ourselves that it's in our best interest to change. If we choose to change, we must visualize ourselves into that new belief. Constructive self-talk and imagery takes the ceiling off the use of our preconceived abilities, and allows us to grow in a controlled manner without stress, tension and negative feedback. It should be understood we have an overall self-image as well as a specific self-image for specific areas of our lives. Each self-image is formed in the same manner. The job of my subconscious is to creatively ensure that I am always acting in accord with the truth as I see it. My performance how I act or behave is controlled by my self-image. Change self-talk before changing actions instead of working on our actions. We want to work on our self-image. How do we go about that? The same way that our self-image was established in the first place through self-talk.